Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Build with Sai. Today we are going to understand what is queue data structure and its real life application with a practical example. Without wasting time, let's dive into the video. What is queue? A queue in data structure is an ordered linear sequence of items, which means that we can insert an item to rear end of the queue and remove from the front of the queue only. A queue is a sequential data type. Unlike an array, in array we can access any of its elements using index, but we can only access the element at the front of the queue at a time. Let's take this as an real-time example. If we are going for theaters or any sort of ticket counters, you could see a queue in front of you. So how the queue will be moved? The people who comes first will be leaving out first. So that's what this image also represents. As an example of queue in real life, in computer, queue data structure works on the same principles. Here I have created a new Node.js application and I having an endpoint to mimic that sending a welcome email. Here you could see in that email sender function, I have not sending a real email. Instead of that, for mimicking that time delay, I just created a nested for loop. And after that, I'm just console logging that as a email sent. And for this, to simulate a user registration request, I created a small script for that, which will be creating a request to that particular endpoint for 10 users. I'm running the server. So here you could see our application is started on a port 3000. So now I'm just going to run our test script. So here you could see our total time taken for the request processing. So for first user, it took 1.2 seconds. As it continues, you could see the 10th user, it is taking up to 11 seconds. In this case, we can consider that it's taking an average of 10 seconds. Now we are going to optimize this time using the queue data structure. But how? Let's see the code. So in our server, here you could see that we are sending an email from this particular function. Instead of sending this email right now when the user hit this current endpoint, we are going to add this in our queue. So how our queue works? We know that it's work on the manner of first in, first out. Now we are going to add the email information into our queue, which I have created earlier. So here you could see we having a queue here, which is a normal array, and we are just pushing our email and from to information into that queue. So we are not going to process this email right now when the user hit this endpoint. Now you could see we are just pushing that into the queue. Now let's test. Here you could see we are getting a 31 milliseconds. So it's pretty much fast. Now our endpoint is got optimized, but we have to send a welcome email, right? How we are going to do that? Here where the queue worker comes in. So here you could see I have created a set interval function which process that queue. Here after sending an email, I'm just removing the first element, which is the basic operation of a queue as first in and first out. This set interval function would be get fired for every 5 seconds. It works as a queue worker. Now let's test this. As I told, now you could see we have a 31 millisecond to process every request on our average. So here you could see that queue is started working. So the things we have added into that queue or started getting processed on a background. This is how we are delegating our process on a background. It can be anything like sending an emails, or if you want to do a heavy reporting task, like you may get a scenario like you want to export a large data set from a database. It is a very time consuming task. We don't want to do that on an immediate response. This background processing comes handy when you are doing a heavy task. I hope now how this queue data structure helps on a real time. Now we are processing the queue from a memory. If the server get restarted, the queue which we have been implemented would be get deleted. For this, in production level application, we can use Amazon SQS, Redis, or even a database to implement this feature for background processing. I hope this makes sense of a queue data structure where we are using that in our real-time applications. If you have any queries on that, please post that on a comment. I try to answer that. For more content like this, please subscribe my channel Build with Sai and share your thoughts on comments.